Hey, so in this quick Xero tips video, we're going to look at how you include VAT reclaims when you are importing goods into the UK for resale. So if you have goods manufactured for your business in another country, when they're imported, you may have VAT charged by customs. You get an invoice from the likes of UPS that may show things like duties and charges, but it will also have a line of VAT. And you can reclaim that VAT on your VAT return from HMRC. Now, if you put the kind of invoice, the bill into Xero in the normal way and try to calculate VAT on it, you won't get the same amount just by using the figures from the invoice. You have to create a multi-line bill inside Xero to manufacture the correct VAT reclaim. And you have to do some clever positive and negative offsetting to make sure that you're not also skewing the figures elsewhere. So we've jumped into the demo company in Xero, and we're going to run through that now and how you would go about creating one of these. So this is all going to be made up information for the moment. We're going to go into bills to pay underneath the business menu. So as a reminder, the business menu tends to be wherever you go to do any kind of bookkeeping. So we're in all of our bills at the moment. We're going to have a look in here. There's lots of different ways to create a bill. You can also kind of click the plus up here and create a bill. But I'll come into here and I'm going to click new bill. So I'm going to use UPS as my example, as I mentioned them before. And I'm going to say it's coming today, and it's due already, let's say. I'm going to give it a reference, and let's say the total amount is £1,000. Now, within that UPS invoice, again, there might be a couple of different things going on, some duties, some charges, service fees, things like that UPS are charging that may or may not have VAT on them as well. So we're going to call these duty and charges for the moment. I'm going to put it in. I'm going to say that of my total invoice, it's £200. And I'm going to put this one just for the moment into my direct expenses account within my demo company in Xero. And I'm going to say that actually these ones are Xero rated VAT. There's no VAT on those. So at the moment, there's no VAT impacting Xero in any way. But the other line on my invoice from UPS says VAT, and it says £800. Now, the problem we have here is if I try and post this to the VAT account like this, it doesn't go onto your VAT return in Xero. And this is where we often see people going wrong. They post like this and think, oh, great, I've put £800 into my VAT control account. I'll reclaim it on my VAT return. But it doesn't impact VAT because here it says no VAT, which means it's not going to hit that VAT return bit. It's not going to be able to kind of put on itself onto the VAT return. So what we then see some people doing is say, okay, so I need to put 20% VAT on expenses. But you can see what it's doing then is it's calculating VAT as being £160 and not the 800 that we want to reclaim. So what do we need to do? What we need to do is we need to make this £800. And to do that, we need to what is called gross this up. So we need to make it the figure that would be appropriate to give rise to £800 of VAT. Now, at the moment, this is saying tax exclusive. So this is our amount excluding VAT. Now, at the moment with a 20% VAT rate, there's a little formula that you can remember. Effectively is 5/6, 5/6. So 5/6 of a number will give you the VAT exclusive amount. 6/6 will give you the VAT inclusive amount, and 1/6 will give you the VAT on its own. Confused? Absolutely, you should be. At the moment, this £800 is the VAT amount, so that's 1/6. If we want to get the net, we need to times it by 5 to get 5/6. So if I do this, £4,000 gives me £800 of VAT. That's what I want to reclaim. However, I don't want to stick it in my VAT control account because that causes all kinds of problems in Xero as well. What it will do is it will put £4,000 into this account and £800. And then what happens is you get an upset bookkeeper or accountant who can't make things reconcile in Xero. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this into my same direct expenses account. We're putting our 20% VAT on, but we're looking at this thinking, hang on a second, my invoice is for 1,000, not 5,000. There's something horribly wrong here. This is when the clever bit comes in. So we've got to do VAT and then call it something like adjustment line. And what we do here is we do exactly the same as the line above, but negative. So we're getting rid of our £4,000. You can see straight away I've come down to my 1,000 here. I put it back into direct expenses, so my 4 and my -4 are offsetting, so there's no impact then on my profit and loss account on the direct expense code. I'm back to it being just this £200 of cost, the duty and the charges. But if I leave that as VAT, hang on a second, all my VAT's gone. So what do I need to do? I need to whack this one down as no VAT. And so now what we've got is an invoice with a subtotal of £200, which is my duty and charges. It's affecting my profit and loss account, reducing my profit by £200. And then I've got £800 of VAT, which is correctly allocated in my 20% VAT code. It will sit in my VAT return and allow me to reclaim that amount from HMRC. So all I need to do now is click approve, and then when that payment goes through to UPS, I will be able to match it off on here, and it will all flow through perfectly to my VAT return. And so now what I've done is I've quickly created a dummy VAT return or VAT return as well inside this demo Xero company. Just by playing around with it, I've actually only run the VAT return for one day, my today, that I've got this transaction in. And we can see straight away here, we've got our £800 reclaim, and we've got this amount showing here as purchases as well. If we go into the VAT box, we can see we've got our UPS VAT line, our duty and charges, and the amounts going through underneath as well. And if you go to transactions by rate, we can see all of those again with our no VAT adjustment line in there as well. But what we can see is that we are correctly claiming £800 there from HMRC, making sure we don't miss out on any of that important VAT. Hope that helps. Obviously, any questions, shove them in the comments, or do reach out and get in touch if there's anything else we can help with. Thanks.